Hi, Russ Whitney here. I want to talk to you briefly. I'm going to try to make this video short about a very exciting event that I am holding. So if you're watching this video, you are on a short list to receive an invitation. I want to tell you a little about it. I'll keep it short. I don't want to bore anybody. If you do get bored, then just click on the link below and you can get all the information in a short letter that I've written to you. So it explains it all in detail. Chances are you know who I am. I built one of the largest training companies in our industry in the world, doing over $250 million in revenue per year, held over 600 live training events a week in 7 countries. I've owned over 40 businesses of all sorts over the last 30 years. I have failed at many of them, but have hit some home runs. And I've learned a lot in that 30 years. About 5, 6 years ago, I walked away from the operating part of the business, the day-to-day affairs, and I went on a kind of a worldwide tour, which I'll talk to you about at the conference. But I kind of semi-retired from the operating, although I still own, Whitney Education still owns, it's called Legacy Alliance today, owns the Rich Dad, Poor Dad education business. Many people don't know that. Today it still does $75 million a year, and I own 38% of the company, largest shareholder in that company. But I've learned a lot, and I've made a lot of mistakes over the years. And about 8 months ago, I kind of got bored with golf and made some contacts out in the ML industry, the training industry, the seminar industry, real estate, stock, some brick and mortar businesses as well, because I've owned numbers of those. For example, I owned a construction company from 2000 to 2006, Gulfstream Construction Development. We built over 7,000 homes, and that business did over $750 million a year. While Whitney Education, and I was still growing that business. But anyway, I made some contacts, and there were numbers of businesses that are doing 3, 4, 5 million on up to 70 million a year, and talked to some of them. They were going through a lot of the problems that I already experienced. You know, how do I scale the business when I start to grow? How do you put in systems, processes, resource budgeting? How do you go from entrepreneur to bureaucracy? And that's critically important. When you get an FTC or an attorney general issue, or you have rep management issues, how did you train your staff? How did you do roll-ups and acquisitions in order to grow the business? So what I decided to do was this. I took on about 10 consulting clients. And I charged them $10,000 a month. I still have them today. I still do all 10 of those. I charge them $10,000 a month. It's a 3-month minimum with a year contract, so they pay me $120,000 a year. And that's cheap. I can tell you that one of those clients, on the first 15 minutes of my first meeting with them, saved them over $1,300,000 just in audio visual cost, where they were making a mistake in how they were doing it. There's not one of them that has not increased their revenue by hundreds of thousands of dollars or cut expenses dramatically. So I got to a point where 10 clients was plenty, and it was taking too much of my time, and I thought, you know what? There's lots of businesses out there, from the internet business, info marketers, MLM businesses, brick and mortar business, training companies, that all run into the same problems. Every coaching client I work with pretty much has all the same problems, which were all the things that I ran into. And I thought, you know what, this is how I think, and this is why you should watch this video. First thing you should be thinking is, how do I scale this? Doing this one-on-one kind of thing takes all my time. I bought myself a job, so I got to be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. So, make a long story short, we came up with an idea about 6, 7 months ago, and that is, why don't we do a business conference? In other words, take all the things that I'm doing with these coaching clients and put together a 3-day conference and bring in all of the people that I used to grow my businesses, all the experts. So not seminar speakers or people who are going to upsell. This is not a pitch fest at all. It's content driven. So my asset protection attorney, who also does work with Donald Trump. How do you protect all your assets and use that for tax and savings? One of the best connectors. This is a person that has helped me connect to almost any resource I need where I lack. And one of those was a training company that would come in and train my middle management and executives on system, process, resource, budgeting, forecasting. Also, they were a CEO trainer. In other words, they trained me how to be a very efficient CEO and chairman of the board of a public company, which, by the way, with the education, I took it public, went from 14 cents to $14, and I had 5.5 million shares. So you do the math, over $70 million just by knowing the right people. So the people who took me public are going to be at this event. The asset protection attorney is going to be at this event. That training company that helped me train all those executives, believe me, I was over my head at $60 million a year with hundreds of employees. It got over my head. So we have to know what we don't know and be willing to use those resources to grow. Let's see, I'm going to bring in the investment bankers I use for private placements, Reg D offerings, for raising money with an exemption from having to have an SEC license. I'm going to bring in the fellow, the best that I know right now for producing infomercials. Conception to fruition will be the lowest cost you could ever get one done anywhere if you want to grow and scale. Everybody knows if you hit an infomercial, boom, you go from zero to hero very quick. I'm going to bring the top merchant account advisor in the country. There's a lot of problems coming down with merchant accounts on anybody who's not swiping. Seminar business, MLM businesses, info marketers, internet businesses are all or they're targeted right now by the FTC. And I'm going to tell you, if you're load balancing, opening multiple accounts, have high chargebacks, you're going to lose your merchant account. You want to know how to avoid that. So what I'm saying to you is none of these people are upselling. They're service providers who are going to be there, and they're going to do a main stage event. And then outside the ballroom, this is, I think, spectacular. There'll be no selling or any upselling, as I told you, but outside the ballroom, I rented an 8,000 square foot rotunda, and all of these experts will have their own cocktail round with bio and picture. So anytime during the event, you can walk right outside, and you can sit down and have one-on-one meetings or group meetings with any of these people, because all of them are going to be someone you're going to need if you really want to scale a business. Now, let me just mention this up front. If you get bored with the video, just click on the link below, and you can go right on to the written description of everything that's going on at this event, who's going to be there, and all the detail. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to have our literary agent there, my literary agent who did my last book, Inner Voice, which 5-star reviews from all over the world. If you're anybody who's anybody in business, you need a book. Books of credibility, not self-published books. You need a conventional book. We can show you how to get that done for $6,000 or less, a conventionally published book, which brings great credibility. I'm just looking at my notes. Oh, well, my good buddy, I know him for 25 years, good friend of mine. And he's a consulting client, Kevin Harrington, who was one of the stars on Shark Tank, will be there. You're going to see leaders from almost every industry represented at this conference. It's going to be right here in Southwest Florida. I've rented a beautiful resort right on the Gulf of Mexico. It's really quaint, so nobody will get lost. Anytime you're out in a public area, you're going to be running into everybody who's there. And that's the point. There's millions of dollars to be made in the networking at this event. Let's see. What have I missed here? Can't think of anything I've missed other than this is unlike any business conference that you've ever attended. And not only are we going to do this 3-day conference, but follow-up, okay? Every quarter, we're going to have a follow-up 3-day event. And at the follow-up 3 days, which will be much less expensive than the initial conference, the big conference. But we're going to have experts coming in, and that's going to be depending on what we feel your needs are. We'll bring in the expert accordingly. And on 3 days, we're going to have 3-4-hour workshops. And those workshops are going to take you through a learning process in whatever your business is lacking in. I'll also tell you that, first of all, click on the link to get more information. It's an application process, not just we're not just letting anybody come. We want to select the right people and know that we've got a cohesive group. So the application is easy, and we're not going to be mean or nasty about it. But there are some people out there that we just don't want to hang around with. I learned that from Jack Welch, the CEO of GE. So you request an invitation, and we'll respond to you within 48 hours. And hopefully you'll attend. Now, we'll tell you that we are looking mostly for businesses that do at least $1 million a year in gross revenue on up to $100 million or more. That's the kind of clientele that you're going to see at this conference. There is a 100% money-back guarantee. You can attend a full day. If you're not happy, second day you come to the desk, request a refund, and we'll give you a full 100% money-back refund. I don't think there's anybody who will leave this conference. This thing is going to be information-packed. You're going to meet some stellar people there, and I'm looking forward to it. I love this kind of stuff. You know, business was a love of mine. You know, I used to have, I guess you can see it back there, right by the Forbes magazine cover. It says TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. That was my mantra. Not thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Monday. I can't wait to get at it. So if you really want to meet the right group of people and connect with winners, be at this conference. Russ Whitney signing out.